Welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and I am so happy that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we are embarking on a journey, an adventure, a whole situation. So here's the thing. If we do not count the rereads that I did last month, I only have five-star reads for 2024. We are in September. Like, that's just not sitting well with me at all. So I decided that today we are going to do a popular booktube channel because I feel like I need a 5-star. So we are going to be reading specifically fantasy romance slash romantasy books until I get a 5-star. This feels like what I am in the mood for lately. I've just been reaching for them more. So yeah, it just kind of made sense for me to make this a genre specific type thing. I am using some of the books that I have predicted to be 5 stars in that 5-star prediction video that I made earlier this year. So, yeah. So, I'm about 40% into Masters of Blood, and I think I am ready to talk about it a little bit. So, in this book, we have Lavana, who is a princess, and she's kind of locked away in her kingdom, and her parents don't really ask her input about her life or really truly care how she's feeling. So, she's just kind of, out here unhappy. And her father promises her to the only other human king in their world or whatever. And she's not excited about that. She's not attracted to him. He doesn't have a personality that she enjoys. So she's just not really happy about that. So she's going to go along with it anyway because it's her duty, and she doesn't ever like stand up to her parents. So at her engagement party, she gets kidnapped by King Orion, who is the vampire king in the north, and he takes her to his kingdom and basically tells her, we're gonna get married. And that's kind of where I am in the story. Lavana is in the vampire court, and she is unhappy, of course, because she got kidnapped. She feels like people keep making decisions about her life without asking her input, without caring what she thinks about it. And so now that she's here in this vampire court, she has become very feisty and very like assertive, and that is definitely growth, but very quick in my opinion. I feel like that might, I don't know, because I am 40% in, I feel like we had time to see that happen gradually, and I just feel like it happened all of a sudden. So like her character growth arc is kind of cut short. And I also am finding Lavana annoying. But at this point, it's like very rare that I don't find the main character in a fantasy romance annoying, especially this archetype with her being a princess and being sheltered and not having her own voice. So I get that, coming from that type of environment and trying to fight for it and trying to find out who you are, not really having the space to do that because you're constantly being told who you're supposed to be. So I get that, but it's just a little annoying. And she's doing these wild and crazy things to annoy King Orion, and he's just like letting her do it and letting her have her moment. I think there are going to be some interesting reveals left in this book. I'm having a good time flying through it. Is this 5 stars? Right now I'm saying no. But could it be 5 stars? Like if the ending like wilds out and does what it needs to do, I think it could possibly be a 5 star, but it's not there right now. But I am having a good time. So we'll see. Somewhere between last night and this morning, I ended up finishing Masters of Blood, and I have quite a few things to say. So I want to start off by saying that this had a lot of potential. It had a lot of potential. It had the setup of something that I feel like could be big, could have been something that, would have been 5 stars, like all the things. But there were a few issues. And I am not one that really like complains when there are grammatical errors or things like that. I don't really mind them as long as it's just a few and they don't really take me out of the story. But for some reason, around like the 70% mark, there was an error on basically every page. And I was reading on my Kindle. And that kind of took me out of it a little bit because I'm just like, this definitely could have used more editing, and I'm not faulting the author or anybody. It became a little too much for me, and that definitely like took me out of the story. But there were some good, like the plot twists in this were plot twisting. Like when I tell you, I was like, huh, what? No, like I was reacting to these things out loud, and what, I was not expecting some of the plot twists that we got. And this is why I wanted to come talk about this, because I felt like it was slipping from my brain already. And I just like literally woke up maybe an hour or two ago and I finished this right before I went to sleep, and I'm already struggling. But what I will say is that her parents were absolute pieces of shit and they did not deserve to have a child at all. And I felt so sorry for her because she felt like, and she is our main character. Oh, I forgot her name already. What the hell? Lavana. Okay. So Lavana, our main character, she didn't even know what love was or what love felt like, or if she was even capable of having or sharing or giving love because of the way that her parents raised her. And it was so clear that they really just did not care about her at all. And it was so sad because she still had hope even after she had found out all these things that they had done to her. One thing that was funny to me, and I don't even know if this is a spoiler or not, but I wouldn't think it is, but it was hilarious because like she passed out from having sex with a vampire, and I'm like, what? Like she passed out, was out cold, and I'm like, yeah, it was not that. Yep, that's all it's about that. I thought I had more to say, but my brain is just. I had my coffee and I still feel like I'm asleep and I haven't woken up yet. I ended up rating this book a 3.5 stars, and yeah, this one kind of hurt a little bit because this was a 5 star prediction for me, and I see the potential in reading it, and I was like, if you had just tweaked a couple things, it could have, it would have, could have, should have, would have, but it didn't. And yeah, I am glad that I read it. I think it's a fun little time. It's not too long. It's only like 300 and something pages. So, I mean, I do think that other people can pick this up and can enjoy it. You should be aware going in of the errors so you don't, like, that doesn't take you out of the story. But yeah, 3.5 stars. Had a pretty good time. Glad I read it. And looks like we'll be moving on to the next book. So I am about 200 pages into the shadows between us, and I'm shook. I am liking this way more than I thought I would, and it scared me because I really don't want this to be 5 stars. I do. Let me take that back. Hold on, that sounded wrong. Okay, so I want this to be 5 stars because I want 5 star books always. But like, yo, this is the second book in this video. And like I said, I was not expecting to like this one as much as I am, but I am eating this up. Like, I love our main character, Alessandra. I think she is a badass, and I'm loving everything about her so far. I guess I should tell you what this is about before I go into all that. We're following Alessandra, who is trying to court the king, whose name is Callias. He's the Shadow King, and she is basically trying to court him to get him. No, she is trying to get him to marry her because she wants to kill him and become queen. But I mean, of course, that's going to be harder than, what we think. And along the way, we've had some bumps. We've had some men with some hurt feelings who is trying to tie Alessandra down. And she's like, what? No, nobody's going to do that to me. I'm out. Nobody's going to do that to me. I'm going to do what I want. And y'all are just going to have to deal with it. And I absolutely love that about her personality. Basically, she is trying to get Callias to fall in love with her while not falling in love with him because, like I said, eventually she wants to kill him. But I mean, he's wiggling his way on in there. That's all I'm going to say. And this is fun. I am having fun reading this. I find myself like flying through it. I don't know if this is going to be a 5 star because I think the ending will really determine that for me, but it's definitely right now sitting at least a 4 with a lot of room to grow. So I'm happy slash nervous because like I said, second book in the video, but I'm very conflicted. I want both things to happen. I want there to be another book in this video, and I want this book to be a 5 star. And that's not gonna happen. So, I don't know how I feel. But yeah, I thought this was YA, and I mean, I guess it technically still could be. There haven't been like any real spice scenes. Things have been like alluded to and talked about, but there hasn't been like any open door, any closed door scenes, I don't think. But I don't know. But I am having a lot of fun, and I have been surprised, and I like when that happens. I like when a book that I thought was just gonna be mid surprises me, and is doing a little more than that. So we'll see what happens. Hello, I'm back, and it has only been like maybe a couple hours, but I have finished The Shadows Between Us, and y'all, this is probably going to be one of my most surprising of the year. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. I had a really really good time reading this book. Like I just I ate this up. I really loved our main character, Alessandra. I felt like, she was the definition of a bad bitch, and we love to see it. I love how she was out here not letting these men take advantage of her or try to control her. She was running them, and period. And I really did also enjoy the plot twist. Like, the plots were twisting, and it was a very interesting story. And I don't know. I just I'm shocked. I'm shooketh. I really, really enjoyed this story. And yeah, I just I don't really have much to say. Because I feel like anything besides what I've said in the first clip would be spoilery. But shockingly enough, I didn't hate the third act breakup that this had. I didn't hate it. I saw it coming and knew we were going to have to address it eventually, but it didn't last long, which I think is what kind of saved it for me. That it kind of, it wrapped up quickly. It got in and got out, moved the story forward. And I mean, I can't really fault that. So yeah, I was so, hold on. I was nervous and anxious reading this book because I was like, is this going to be the 5 star? And the more that I think about it, it was not a 5 star. I didn't get the 5 star feels, and I was kind of going back and forth between a 4 and a 4.5. But when I ran it through the Culp House system, it was a 4 star, and I was like, I don't know, that just doesn't feel right. Like, uh, but then I kind of compared it to books that I have recently rated 4.5 stars, and it just didn't compare to those feelings. It didn't. So I'm going to settle on a 4 star for this, but this is actually really good. And if you are looking for a romantasy that does not have any spice, this is it. But I think that's because it's YA. But anyway, I had a really good time reading this, and no one is more surprised than me that this was a 4 star read for me. And I could see myself picking up the sequel to this. I think it follows the sister and it's technically interconnected, so I don't think it has anything to do with this one. But I do like Trisha Levenseller's writing. So I might have to go into like Daughter of a Pirate King and see what that's about, because I have been looking at it for a long time and I just didn't want to read that until I read this one because it has been sitting on my shelf for so long. But I don't know. I had a fun time. I'm shook. I'm happy. Moving on to the next book though. Okay, so I just finished part 2, and I think that means I'm about 100-ish, maybe a little over, pages into The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And I do not have my copy because I am reading it on my Kindle and Lex is reading the physical copy. We decided to buddy read this because we were both really interested in it. And that's been really fun. We've never actually like buddy read with anybody before. So trying that out on each other, I guess is, cool. Yeah. It's been fun. Talking about the book, we have Araya, who is our main character. She's a human and she was basically adopted by this vampire king named Vincent when she was a child. And so she has grown up, of course, learning to fight, but also has grown up in fear because she is the only human in this world of vampires. And these vampires are not the cute ones that we romanticize. These are like lethal, killing, like actual scary vampires. She decides to join the Kajari, which is this basically fight to the death competition where the goddess Nyxia will grant the winner a wish. And if Aurea was to win, she would want to be Vincent's It's a word that starts with a C, but I don't remember what it is. But basically, she would have access to his power, and their lives would be kind of linked. So she, would be able to protect herself. I don't know if she would actually become a vampire, but she would be vampire adjacent as far as powers and strength and things. And she's doing this because the turning process for vampires is very um what's the word, finicky, and a lot of people don't survive it. So this is the safest way for her to be able to do that. And we have just entered the Kajari, and I think they've gone through like the first trial, and she's met this guy who just kind of pops up in random places. His name is Rain. He has, tried to help her out during the Kajari, and he wants to join up and be allies in the next trial. And of course, Aurea is skeptical, and she's like, No, I'm human. Like, I'm the only human in this competition. Why would you want to team up with me? Like, I know you're just using me to be like an easy kill later on down the road. But she ends up in a situation where, she kind of has to ally with him. And that's where I am right now. I'm really enjoying this. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I am enjoying the story. I am rooting for Aurea. I like her. She is definitely not as annoying as a lot of romantasy main characters. She's very aware. She's not naive. She knows what kind of situation she's in. And, she's not out here putting herself in bad situations unnecessarily and, trying to change the way that things are. She understands the way they are, and she's just trying to make it work for her. And I like that about her. I like that she is a badass. Like, she out here fighting. She ain't scared to like kill and, pop a vampire in the chest. Love that. So I'm having a good time. And it has 5-star potential still. This was one of my 5-star predictions from the video. So we're hanging good right now. And we'll, see what happens as we go on. I am here in my bonnet and not dressed because we have to talk about this book. We have to. I get it. Y'all are right. The hype lives up. I'm obsessed. All the things. Let's just get into this, okay? Because I am obsessed. The way this book had me going through all the emotions. So I told y'all that I was buddy reading this with Lex. We were basically just taking this a part at a time, and then we would talk about it. But let me tell you something. When we got to, which part was that? Let's see. Was it like part 5? Like, look, okay. Yeah, so I think once we got to part 5, we binged over half of this book yesterday and finished it, because this what happened. We kept reading apart and we're like, wait, this is getting kind of good, we need to keep going. And then we just had to keep going. Like, we just had to keep going to figure out what happened. And then next thing you know, we had finished the book. And y'all were right. The hype was real. The hype was right. This is so good. This gives. This eats. I mean, now I understand why this is so many people's favorite. romantasy books, because this gave everything that it needed to give and then some. And then Carissa Broadbent's writing, and then this world she built, and there's so much going on in this book, but it all makes sense. And there's not anything like, oh, she just did this to did that. Like, it's none of that. Like, it all makes sense. It all has a purpose. Even if we don't know exactly like what is what, it still makes sense. And like all the things. Oh my gosh, I just I don't have words. This was everything that I needed. And like, we didn't get any like spicy scene until like way into the book. And I was waiting for it, and I knew it was gonna happen. And when it happened, I was like, yeah, Carissa spice too. Like, that gave me everything that I needed. And it wasn't like overly spicy where it's just like spice scenes for the heck of it. Like, no, it like I can't even talk. I'm so excited. I can't talk. Oh my god. Okay, so Araya is definitely one of my favorite women main characters, for sure. Like, she's just a badass. She out here killing these vampires and doing what needs to be done, and like, not, you know, she was handling business, and I really liked that. But it was the ending for me, the way she was just blowing up and reveals was happening left and right. I'm like, Carissa, you taking me too fast, slow down. Like, I can't breathe. Like, I have emotion. I was emotionally distraught when I finished this book, and now I'm like, okay, I need to pick up the second one. Where's the second book? I need it now. And so I'm trying not to derail my monthly TBR plans, but the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King gonna have to see me real soon after reading this, because it just, I can't not know what happens next. I have to finish out Araya and Rain's story. And I just loved Araya and Rain together so much. Like, the way that they saw each other, and the way that they like saw through each other's like bullshit, and like their banter was so cute. I just loved them so much. Oh my god. And then Misha, I want her to come back in the second book, because I really loved her character as well. And she just added the sunshine that the two of them needed, and I need more of her. And I already know that the next duet is about her, and I'm so excited to see what they do with her story, because she was definitely one of my favorites in here. And the way, oh my god, it's just so many things that happen in this ending. I can't say any of them because they're all spoilers, and you just need to be shocked like I was. But there's so much that happens in this book, and it wasn't even that long. I don't even think it was 500 pages, and has so much packed in here. Like, the girlies were right. If you have been holding off on reading this because you just don't believe the hype like me, believe the hype. Believe it. This is worth the hype. Now, some of the other stuff, I don't know. I am so mad at myself for waiting years to read this book, but it was worth it, because like, it was really fun buddy reading this and having Lex to talk about it with, because I had to scream, cry, and throw up with somebody. And so we were right there sitting across from each other, and she was reading this and I was reading on my Kindle, and we were like, what? Oh my god, what? Hold on, we gotta stop. Like, this is crazy. I just had the best time reading this, and if you can't tell, it is obviously a 5-star. 5 stars. All the stars. Every one of them Carissa Broadbent can have for this book. Every star. Because it was everything. It was everything. And so I guess that kind of means that this is the end of this video now. I was very skeptical of this. Like, I thought that the setup was going to, you know, give, but I also thought that with Masters of Blood, so I wasn't sure that this was going to give me the 5-star, but it did. So this video did not last forever, thank goodness. But I don't know. Part of me kind of wishes I could have like had one more before we got the 5-star, but at this point I have been needing 5 stars, so I don't even care We're gonna take this win and we're gonna go with it. So to do a quick recap, we read Masters of Blood and they ended up being like a 3.5. And then we read The Shadows Between Us, which was a 4-star. And we are ending this out with our beloved Serpent and the Wings of Night as our 5-star read that we have been searching for. And I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier. So thank y'all for sticking with me and watching this video. And I probably will do this again. I don't know if I'll make it genre themed or not, but this was kind of fun and I want to try again because I need more 5 stars in my life anyway. So we'll probably try this challenge again at some point. But until then, why don't you leave me your favorite romantasy in the comments down below. And I hope you have the best day that you absolutely can. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.